أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا مولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله. In the name of Allah, the gracious, the merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the universe, the Master of the Day of Judgment. I bear witness and testimony to the oneness of Allah, to His magnificence, His omnipotence, His might, His glory, to His being the creator and sustainer of all things, the giver of life, the guider of hearts, the Master of the Day of Judgment. And I bear witness to the fact that Muhammad ibn Abdullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam is His servant and final messenger. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him and upon all those who choose to tread in his path until the last day. It is said that on one occasion, an elderly sheikh came upon a young boy who was traveling through a forest. And as he came upon this young boy, he noticed that he had upon him no provisions or any baggage of any kind, and he seemed to be muttering something to himself. And so when he started to speak to the young boy and ask him about where he came from and where it was that he was going, the answers that he got to the questions were ones that he did not expect. And so he says to the young boy that, "What is the journey that you are undertaking?" And he says that, "Ya sheikh, I am going to be with Allah in His house. I am going to Makkatul Mukarramah to perform the pilgrimage." And he says to him that, "What is it that you are saying on your tongue? What are you speaking to yourself?" And he says, "Ya sheikh, I am reading Quran. What else would I be saying?" And he says, "This journey that you are taking, it is long and arduous, that you have with you no provision of any kind, no bags that you are carrying. How will you get to where you are going?" He says that, "Ya sheikh, if you were to go and be the guest of anyone in their home, would you bring your own provision? So why, when I am going to be a guest of Allah, would I bring my own?" He says, "You are so young. There is no way that this journey is an obligation upon you at this point in your life. Why don't you wait a few more years? Most people, when they take this journey, they're much older, towards the end of their life." He says, "Ya sheikh, I have seen so many who are of a younger age than even me be taken from this world before they perform this journey. So why, when I have the means, I have the capacity to perform it now, would I wait for a tomorrow that I might not ever see?" And for you and I, as we are blessed to be in these last hours of this blessed month of Ramadan, may Allah accept it from us, where many of us have fasted in these long summer days, many of us have stood into the late hours of the night, many of us, due to constraints that life does not allow for us to put a halt to, where the dunya interjects and the expectation is not that we are able to just live our deen the way others might in other parts of the world, and we still have to go to work. We still have responsibilities. So our du'as, our adhkars, they're just done within the minutes of the day that we might perhaps have the ability to do those things. May Allah accept it from all of us. This moment is a crucial moment to understand the moments that will come beyond this one, where you and I individually, no one else will make it for us, have to commit to what it is that we are taking from this month and how it is that we will take it to the best of places in the world beyond this one. And where you make a determination to understand that perhaps, inshallah ta'ala, we will be blessed not to even see another month of Ramadan, but perhaps to even just see another sunrise at the time of Fajr. or even just moments before we started today's khutbah, message came on my phone of a brother in our community whose elderly father passed away at Fajr time today. May Allah grant him peace and entrance into Jannah without any judgment. And the conceptualization there is not one that's meant to render a morbid feeling. That this deen is a deen that allows for you and I to actually embrace wholeheartedly with a sense of empowerment our own mortality. That what this month is meant to teach us is that we don't have to chase after things that make this society a heavily consumer-driven society. That says you put your trust and your contentment in the possession of things, and materialistic gain is going to give you a false sense of longevity that elevates your ego to certain places where then you don't know how to deal with reality. That at some point in time, your body is going to start to have aches and pains. That things that you could do when you were younger, you wouldn't be able to do at a certain time in your life when you get older. That relationships, they start to have bitterness set in after romantic periods end and the honeymoon is over. You get to spaces and places where realities are there, and when you live in an egocentric world that teaches you to worship the nafs and to allow the nafs to dictate everything else that you will be submissive to, it tells you to not conceptualize the reality of time that has been allocated to you, that is not looked at in a way that it's fleeting or it's escaping. But you could say that with every breath that I am blessed to breathe into this world, it's just taking me one step back to where it was that I came from in the first place. And the moments that I spend chasing after whatever it is that I chase after, I want to think with a real depth of perspective from my heart, and to understand how, in fact, I will play a deliberately present role in decisions and choices that will come after this time. Where do you plan on sitting a Friday from now at this same time? And following the day of Eid, may Allah make it a blessed and joyous Eid for all of us. What are you hoping to do the night before, the day after, the month after, the year after? And in your plan, in your trajectory, have you outlined for yourself an idea that says that when that door of Ramadan closes, the doors that I open for myself within Ramadan don't have to close? And it doesn't take moments of grandeur to continue to have those kind of openings. A brother that I was speaking to right before we came into the khutbah, he said that for me, I wasn't really Muslim growing up. I was born into a Muslim family. Islam was something that was there, but I didn't really connect to it the way that I connect to it now. And he said a few years ago, I made a determination after reading a hadith where the Prophet ﷺ says, if you go to bed in a state of wudu, that the angels will come and offer protection for you and seek forgiveness on your behalf until you wake. And he said, so all I did was say that I'm going to go to bed making wudu every night. I already know how to make wudu. Just throwing water on my body is not hard. Anybody could do it. And he said, after I stayed consistent in just making that wudu, I noticed that I would wake up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Just always. And so I was awake anyway. I decided that I would start to pray some rak'ahs for tahajjud. He said then I noticed that I became more consistent in other things after that. And he said in my entire life, I had never completed reading the Quran. And then he said, in the 2 years after that, I read it in its entirety twice. And in this Ramadan, I'm going to read it again a third time. And he said, all I had to do was make that wudu before I went to sleep. When the hadith tells us that with the advent of this month, فُتِحَتْ أَبْوَابُ الْجَنَّةِ, the gates of paradise are open. وَغُلِقَتْ أَبْوَابُ النَّارِ, that the gates of fire, they're closed. وَسُفِدَتْ الشَّيَاطِينَ, and the shayateen, they're chained. It doesn't mean that when Ramadan's done, the gates of paradise, they close, man. And the reality that says that the waswasa of shaitan, may Allah protect us from it, which is a reality that we have to embrace consciously, doesn't also mean that you have to cower, or at the first slip up, you just return back to where you were before the month started. But you have a sense of audacity that stems from a heart that connected to a God that knows that you are better than the best version that you can conceptualize yourself to be. And that you will make a determination that says that I will be the one who is in control of my actions and choices. I will render for myself a critical mode of thinking to be able to yield a perspective that says the person that I am today, on this 26th day of Ramadan, do I like this person that I am in comparison to 26 days ago? And what am I going to leave behind if anything pulls me to go back to where it was that I came from? We have everyone please move in tight. If you can come in very close as people are coming in. If there's any gaps in front of you, you don't have to sit where the tape is, but if you could just fill the carpet. There's a lot more people that are coming in. We want to make sure that they have room. I told people to come up. The exercise that is yielded through the ritual of fasting, through the prism of Ramadan, that's end goal is meant to increase consciousness. Necessitates you and I understanding that the way that we were perhaps taught certain things growing up, we weren't taught consciousness growing up. Nobody taught us how to be at peace with stillness. Nobody taught us what it meant to reflect and contemplate, likely, for the most part. At least nobody sat and taught me. My 3-year-old, my 6-year-old, they can't sit still for longer than 20 seconds. My daughter, she can. My son, he's a nut job. But the ability to pass on certain traits and qualities and characteristics necessitate us reflecting in both directions, what's going to come ahead as well as what's coming from before. And to say that what we were socialized with, in large part, did not endow us with some of these skills because they're not skills that really this world wants us to know about. The dunya doesn't want you to have a presence of mind. It wants your nafs to be in such a way that it gives in to desire, hawa. And hawa is the same word for wind. And the way that desires are, they can be as gentle as a cool breeze that ruffles the leaves on the branch of a tree, but a wind is also, may Allah protect us from it, strong enough to knock down this building. And just like the winds go, man, your desires, they just float and float and float, pulling you here and there in every direction. So the dunya is going to say to you that, hey, you know what? This thing, if you buy it, it'll make you happy. And the next day it's going to say that, hey, you know what? This job, you'll get more money and it'll make you happy. And you know what? You get invited to this place to sit with these people in this room for this meeting. It's going to give you prestige. You'll be happy. But the sacrifice you'll have to make is that you can't go watch your son play in the sport that he plays in. Your wife, your mother, they're not going to see you sitting at the dinner table with them. The day of Eid, somebody else is going to be hugging your relatives. That Maghrib prayer that you ran to pray in Jama'ah to break fast with either friends or family members, every single day, almost for a month, you're going to have to give it up because somebody scheduled a meeting during that time. Think right now what you are going to decide in that moment. Just like that brother said, I'm going to make wudu every night, no matter what. And the doors continue to open. Commit right now from here, nowhere else, from here, through a prism of a heart that is present and mindful. I'm not going to stop my prostrations when the month is over. I'm not going to stop believing in dua when the month is over. I'm not going to stop being generous with my wealth and my time when the month is over. I'm not going to stop feeding people. I'm not going to stop inviting people to be fed. I'm not going to fit into the boxes that this racist society seeks to put me in. But I'm going to be unapologetic in my identity. And if somebody asks me, why am I getting up or why am I late? Without hesitation, I'm going to say with a sense of pride that I was praying to my God, man. And if they have a problem with it, let them have a problem with it. If they tell you that it is somehow beneath the way others live because you choose to adopt a lifestyle, philosophy on life that teaches you to look for the common good, mutual benefit, to take care of orphans, to visit the sick in hospitals, to treat elderlies with dignity and respect, that you choose to adopt a lifestyle that emphasizes love, mercy, and compassion, that it doesn't tell you to just live in a sphere where you are feeding and feeding and feeding yourself to a point where you keep eating no matter what else somebody else has to live through in terms of hunger and starvation. And the epicenter of it is your relationship with your God. Don't let it go. Don't leave it behind. In these blessed nights, which we still have some of them left, may Allah make them a means of benefit for us. When you are trying to seek out and be from amongst those who benefit and witness from the night of destiny, the night of power, Laylatul Qadr. These aren't nights you want to be talking to anybody else. Nor do you want to be the distraction that keeps people from talking to Allah. And the sincerity of your heart is all that really becomes the ticket for entry. You got to understand that it's moments that Allah looks for. It's not about years and lifetimes. It's not about some of the things that we get into our head. But it's just about moments. What consciousness is about necessitates understanding the organs of cognition that we've been endowed with. And so what our tradition tells us is that our organs of cognition are both our hearts and our brains. And you want to just be present with those. Can we have everyone please just move up again? Aziza keeps gesturing to me from the back, and she yells at me a lot after Jummah. So, you know, if you have any carpet in front of you, if I can see brown in front of you, and not like brown people, but brown carpet, then that means you should be able to see it too. So please move up, because there's people that are back there that are trying to get a seat. And so within that exertion of consciousness, where you're using your brains and you're using your heart, you understand that this madrasa, this school that we have that is Ramadan, is putting us in a place that says we are in control. The body is not in control. You are in control. The nafs, it is not in control. You are in control. The emotions, they are not in control. You decide, you choose, you play a role with presence. You test for yourself that, what are you trying to give Jannah up for? And is there anything that this dunya can offer to you, to your loved ones, to your children, to your family members, to your friends, that's worth its sacrifice? If you want to know what kind of du'as that you should make, ask Allah to give you paradise, man. Ask Allah to put into your heart a desire to be nothing less than a person of Jannah. Because when you make that dua for yourself and you allow for yourself to embrace the idea that entrance into Jannah isn't about rich or poor or young or old or black, white, brown, yellow or anything else. Whether we want to recognize it or not, our deen also says that just because you're Muslim doesn't mean you go there. And because you're not Muslim doesn't mean you're denied it. May Allah grant us all entrance into the best of places in the world beyond this one. If you want to think about what it is that you will make dua for, you think about it preemptively. You plan and you get ready. And I say to you with an air of love, how many of your prayers are just about the acquisition of dunya? And how many is it that's really about returning to the place that we came from? Don't get trapped in this fear that says that you are just the body that your soul is encased in. Don't get stuck in a place where you deny that there's so much more to you. Be in a place where you embrace full-heartedly what Allah has endowed you with. And then with that consciousness, make a determination that says, Ya Allah, I want to be this person going forward. You don't have to tell anybody else. Your vulnerability does not have to be to those who only accept you when you put on a facade of yourself, or when you show what is understood to be weakness, but in reality is strength and expression of your emotions, and where you have struggle is just between you and your God, man. That, Ya Allah, I know that I don't treat people as kindly as I should. Ya Allah, I know that I am too engrossed in pursuing wealth and money to the detriment of real relationships. Ya Allah, I don't talk to my kids right. I don't talk to my spouse right. Ya Allah, I haven't called my mother this entire month of Ramadan, whether she's Muslim or not. That, Ya Allah, loved ones that I buried weeks, months, years ago, I haven't even thought about them, let alone make dua for them. Ya Allah, I saw that I was actually somebody who was able to pray all my prayers. I saw that I can actually give in charity. I saw that I actually have the ability to offer good and benefit and light. Ya Allah, make me courageous enough to ask of you to make me one who does only good. You start to break down what you really need and what you really long for. And you start to think about what it means to desire real contentment. And you sit and you seek to understand through the prism of a heart that is present in this blessed month, almost towards its end. What do you, in specific, want to take away from it? And how much are you willing to fight for it, to not let it be something that you let go of? Nobody can decide for you except you. And if you don't think about it today, on this blessed day of Jummah, going into the 27th night of this blessed month of Ramadan, as we move to the blessed day of Eid and take advantage of the barakah that's around you, you're going to get out of it what you can put into it. So take some moments for yourself more than anybody else. If you need to smack yourself around and really say, what am I doing? Then do it. And assess that these moments are what's going to make the difference. You want to know where the consciousness will lie? Just think about certain things that you have experienced in this month. Think about where you are right now, at whatever age you are at right now, whatever year you are living in this world right now. And what are the things that you remember from days past, months past, years past? And how many moments, how many hours, how many days do you have no recollection of whatsoever? Think about the moments that you remember every person that was in the room with you. You remember people who you love so much, exactly what they were wearing on that day. You can still smell the scent, the cologne, the perfume of certain individuals. Think about those. Think about those moments where your heart trembled, your entire body shook because you knew that the prayer you were praying was being accepted because you didn't want to stop praying. Think about things that your eyes have seen that they have not forgotten in terms of their awesomeness and their true majesty. Those are moments where your being is alive and awake. Your heart is present. Your mind is conscious. And you can recognize that most of your moments can be like those. You just have to choose to want them to be like that. Or we can go to a place where the monotony of the day that bears no presence of any part of our inside, that has us just being herded around as cattle would be herded around and pursued by individuals whose own interest is really what is dictating how they decide we will move forward. Or you could say, no, I want to be a person of Jannah. And I'm going to use the heart and the mind that was given to me and the lessons that I've learned in this month to move forward in the best of ways possible so that I can ensure for my sake, as well as the sake of my loved ones, that I'm doing everything I can to get back to the place that my soul first came from. Don't leave this month of Ramadan without sitting for some moments and just thinking about what it is that you individually want to take from it, and what parameters and measures you are going to put in place to ensure that you will do nothing less than your best to make it happen. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروا إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله تعالى فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا مولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله. We're raising money still for our shelter project. Alhamdulillah, as of Jummah time, we're at about $515,000 that we've raised as a community. Our goal is to raise $700,000 to purchase and renovate a space that will serve as a shelter, an emergency shelter for abused women and children. Many of you have given. If you can continue to give, we would appreciate it. The sadaqah from today will be going to that as well. You can give your zakah to this project. I think we can make it to $700,000 inshallah before the end of Ramadan. It would be amazing if everybody could do their part so that we don't have to fundraise for this after Ramadan. I'm really tired. If you do me a favor and please donate whatever you can. If you have friends that are rich, tell them to donate too. It's going to go to a really amazing cause. And I just want you to think, because it's hard to live outside of our experience, but there's women and children, man, in our communities who on the day of Eid, they're still going to be getting yelled at. That forget hugs, they're going to just be wishing, and their dua is going to be that nobody raises a hand on them. I gave an Eid khutbah in New Jersey once, and I'm standing with my father afterwards, and I had given a khutbah that at some level incorporated love and mercy and just hugging people even outside of Eid. And a man came up to me and he said, "Are you trying to tell me that our deen tells us we're not supposed to hit our wives?" And my father said to him, "You should leave before my son hits you." But you got to think that that's where some people are at. And even if we don't engage in that atrocious behavior that has nothing to do with our sunnah, nothing to do with our deen, if we know that it's happening, which all of you know because I just told you it happens, and we don't do anything to stop it systematically, institutionally, then we're just as responsible as the people who are perpetrating it. So give whatever you can today Continue to share our crowdfunding. It's launchgood.com/NYC shelter. Inshallah, we will reach that goal. It's going to help save a lot of lives and do a lot of good for many people that the world has forgotten. And even if we don't get there, I just want to tell you before we continue, I'm so proud of you all that we've been able to get to this point. $500,000 is not a joke. And when you go to that crowdfunding site, it's about 7,500 people that have donated to it. That means lots of people are just giving whatever they can. So give whatever you can so the barakah keeps going and we can ensure that we are taking care of our women and our children, especially those who have men in their lives who have no idea what it means to be a man. Lastly, a lot of people have been asking about Zakat al-Fitr. We're not collecting it actively here, but if you go to our website, icnyu.org, there's a tab there that will direct you to 2 organizations that you can donate your Zakat al-Fitr to. You want to donate it prior to the day of Eid, because the idea is that it will be distributed before the Eid to people who are in need of it, so that they too can celebrate the holiday. Please do make sure you give it on behalf of yourself and every person in your family. Inshallah, Allah will accept it and make it a means of benefit for those who are in need of it. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد في الأولين وفي الآخرين اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم إنك عفو كريم تحب العفو فاعف عنا يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلوبنا على دينك اللهم اجعلنا من المخلصين اللهم اجعلنا من المخلصين اللهم اجعلنا من المخلصين. We begin this supplication in your name, Ya Allah, and beseech you to send your choicest salutations upon your most beloved sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. We ask that you shower your infinite mercy upon this gathering, granting each and every one who is present herein and our loved ones only the best in this world and the best in the next. We ask, Ya Allah, that if all of us are meant to be together only at this time, at this place, whether we are young or old, male or female, regardless of our race, our ethnicity, our social class, our country of origin, our cultural heritage, whether we are Muslim or come from a different walk of life, Ya Rabbi, if our individual hearts are meant to be in the presence of all other hearts that are gathered here only at this time, at this place, then gather us all together again in the best of places in the world beyond this one. Increase us, Ya Allah, in all that is good. Increase us in courage, compassion, and confidence. Protect us from any affliction, anxiety, or anguish. Remove from our hearts any feelings of bitterness, jealousy, animosity, or envy towards any of your creation. Grant us hearts that are filled with understanding and hope. Hearts that are drawn towards beauty and goodness. Hearts that find themselves in a state of tranquility and rest. Hearts that are drawn towards your remembrance. For indeed in your remembrance do hearts find rest. We ask, Ya Allah, that you accept from all of us our actions of this month of Ramadan. Accept our standing, our bowing, our kneeling, our prostrating. Accept every letter of every word of every verse of your book that we have recited, we have listened to, we have heard. And make us from amongst those who are granted a deep understanding of that book. Accept from us all of our acts of charity, our volunteerism. Accept every dua that we have made, Ya Rabb. Those that we have uttered to you, those that we are too scared to utter, those that our hearts long to ask of you. Put khair into all of them, Ya Allah, and help us to be from amongst those who are accepting of your divine decree. We ask, Ya Allah, that through the blessings and barakah of this month, that you bring ease to all those who find themselves in any type of difficulty. Those who live right now with true resilience in places that are filled with war and conflict. Those who find themselves surrounded by drought, by famine. Those who are in a place that whether the sun is up or down, they have no choice but to not eat because there's no food at their disposal. And make us, Ya Rabb, a means always of benefit for your creation. Through us, Ya Allah, clothe your creation. Through us, Ya Allah, give shelter to your creation. Through us, Ya Allah, give hope to your creation. Through us, Ya Allah, feed your creation. Through us, Ya Allah, give drink to your creation. Through us, Ya Allah, be merciful to your creation. Through us, Ya Allah, give strength to your creation. Through us, Ya Allah, love your creation. And help us to find a love for ourselves, a forgiveness for ourselves, a sense of self that embraces everything that we have of goodness to offer, so that we might go out and be the real catalyst of change in this world. Ya Allah, endow us with a sense of gentleness and compassion towards each other and ourselves, and help us to remember and believe always in your mercy and your love, that when this month is over, Ya Allah, we are still taking steps in our journey towards you. Let not one of us or our loved ones leave this world in any state other than that which is pleasing to you. Help us to carry always the lessons learned in this month and to make it a means of benefit for us. And through this month, Ya Allah, empower us to become those who are not afraid the people that we could become tomorrow. We ask, Ya Allah, that by the barakah of this month of Ramadan, you accept our dua. By the presence of the righteous that are here, you accept our dua. By the sincerity of the most sincere that are here, accept our dua. We ask, Ya Allah, that you make us from amongst those who seek out, witness, and benefit from Laylatul Qadr. We ask, Ya Allah, that you make it a night that every dua that we utter is accepted, a night that enables us to truly have a destiny that's changed, a night that empowers us, and a night that we will not let pass by because we did not seek it, but make us, Ya Allah, from those whose books are written that we found it and we gained from it. Ya Allah, bless this community always and protect each one who is here, those who sit present on this day, those who came for the nights before, those who intended to come, those who helped build it and are no longer here. And make us a means of benefit for your creation for generations to come. Let those who have come and are deciding whether they should come or not know that we feel both their presence and their absence, and that we will not be strong as we are without each and every one of them here in whatever way that they can. And for those who find themselves alone, who do not have the benefit and blessing of sisters and brothers to pray this Friday prayer with, who have broken fast by themselves, who on the day of Eid will not have gifts given to them, help us to find a place for them in our hearts, and to let none of them feel unloved, Ya Rabb, but to always feel the presence of your divine love through us, from us. Elevate us to that maqam, that we might be that source of hope for your creation. Protect us always from hearts that are not humble, tongues that are not wise, and eyes that have forgotten how to cry. Forgive us for our shortcomings and guide and bless us all. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه محمد وآله وصحبه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين وقيم الصلاة.